Hi, welcome. Now we want to discuss about the one of the law subject, that is environmental law. Environmental law has total 5 units. Unit 1 deals with the meaning and definition of environment. Ecology, ecosystem, biosphere, biomes, ozone, depletion, global warming, climate change, need for the preservation, conservation and protection of environment. It also deals with ancient Indian approach to environment, environmental degradation and pollution, kinds, causes and effects of pollution. Now we will discuss about unit 1. Environment, concept, meaning and definition. What is the concept and meaning of environment? The concept of environment is as old as the concept of the nature itself. It is a composite term reflecting the conditions in which organisms consisting of air, water, food, sunlight, etc. thrive and become living sources of life for all the living and non-living beings, including plant life. The first term, that is environment, also includes atmosphere, temperature, wind and its velocity. The concept of environment can be understood two-dimensionally, namely in a narrow sense and broader sense. Environment denotes surroundings, whereas in its broader sense, it includes everything visible and non-visible, that is invisible, seen and unseen, known and unknown, living and non-living, and their interaction in, on, under and above the surface of the earth. Definitions. What are the general definitions of environments? The general definitions are: 1. Dr. T.N. Kushu, Secretary, Department of Environment, Government of India, says that environment means sum total of all conditions and influences that affect the development of life of all organisms. Second, according to C.C. Park, the term environment refers to the sum total of conditions which surround man at a given point in space and time. Third, according to Gaudi, environment is the representative of physical components of the earth wherein man is the important factor influencing his environment. Now, statutory definitions of environment. Number 1. Under the UK Environment Protection Act, as defined under Section 1 Class 2 of the Environment Protection Act 1990 of the UK, environment consists of all or any of the following media, namely air, water and land. And the medium of air includes the air within the buildings and the air within the other natural or man-made structure above or below ground. Second, under the Indian Environment Protection Act 1986, according to Section 2A of Indian Environment includes water, air and land and human beings, other living creatures, plants, microorganisms and property. Thus, it is clear that the statutory definition of the term environment is an inclusive definition and that is interpretation depends upon the facts and circumstances of each case. Ecology. What is the meaning of ecology? Ecology means a study of ecosystem to determine how to the creatures are organized, how they interact among themselves, and how the total system functions. It is a study of organisms in relations to their environment. Ecology is the science of the intricate web of relationship between living organisms and their living and non-living surroundings. This is defined by UN Council Environmental Quality. The ecology is also said to be a branch of biology dealing with the relations of organisms inters and to their physical surroundings, habitats, and their modes of living. Ecology cycle meaning. Ecology cycle means the continuing cycle of ecosystem. It is a total functional system based on mutual dependency. Ecosystem. What is ecosystem? Meaning. Ecosystem is an assemblage of species of plants and animals inhabiting in a common area and effect of each other. It also known as biotic community. Ecosystem is a situation of interdependence. The biotic community combined with physical environment is generally known as ecosystem. The US Council on Environmental Quality defines ecosystem as the independence of living and non-living parts, that is man, animals, plants, forest, lakes, etc. Definition. According to A.G. Pransley, a unit of interactions between the living and the non-living components of the environment like plants, animals, and microorganisms, and non-living components like air, water, sunlight, and soil. It is a structural and functional unit of ecology. Next topic is structure of ecosystem. What is the structure of ecosystem? Actually, there are two major components, biotic, abiotic. Biotic is living. Abiotic is non-living. Biotic or living includes producers, consumers, and decomposers. What are the biotic components? Biotic components are the living organisms like plants, animals, and microorganisms present in ecosystem. These are called biotic components. Producers. Producers are autotrophs. Producers are photosynthetic plants, bacteria and algae. The plants are called transducers. They convert solar energy into chemical energy. As the green plants manufacture their own food, they are known as autotrophs. Consumers are heterotrophs. The organisms which depend on the plants for their supply of food are known as heterotrophs. There are four types of consumers. Number 1, primary consumers or herbivores. The animals which obtain their food from green plants are called first order consumers. For example, deer, cow, rabbit, goat, etc. Second, secondary consumers. The animals which live on the flesh of the primary consumers are called secondary consumers. For example, snakes, frogs, cats and dogs, etc. Third one is territory consumers. These are the living carnivores which eat the flesh of the secondary consumers. For examples, wolves, owl, etc. Fourth one, top carnivores. These are the largest consumers and cannot eaten up by any other animal. Examples, lion, tiger and vulture. What are the third biotic components? The third and last biotic components are decomposers or reducers. What are the decomposers? The small creatures like bacteria, fungi, insects and worms act as decomposers. The byproducts produced are water, CO2, nitrogen, phosphates, sulfates, etc. They are also called the reducers because they are able to degrade or remove the dead bodies of organisms. The decomposers are known as saprophytes. What are the abiotic components? The abiotic components involves all the non-living things persons in the environment. Example, soil, water, minerals, climate, rocks, temperature and humidity. These components functioning enables the ecosystem energy and nutrition cycles. The sun rays are the primary energy sources. An ecosystem's temperature changes have an impact on the types of plants that may flourish there. The availability of nutrients and soil mature determines the type and abundance of vegetation in an area. Types of ecosystem. Two types are there. Number one is aquatic ecosystem and number two is terrestrial ecosystem. Biomes. What are the biomes? Biomes are any of several major seasons of interrelated plants and animals determined by the climate as a deciduous forest or deserts. Example, falling of leaves in a season as opposed to evergreen leaves, milk teeth, etc. Now, we will see about biosphere. What is the biosphere? Biosphere is that part of the surface of the earth and atmosphere which is inhabited by living being. It is a tone of earth and atmosphere. The tone of earth extending from deep dust to the lower atmosphere where natural existence of life is possible is called biosphere. The biosphere consists of the surface of the earth made by atmosphere, oceans, upper surface areas of the earth, land areas of continents and islands. Therefore, water is associated with the living things which inhabit that area. Our next topic is ozone. What is the ozone? Its meaning and nature. Ozone is a pale blue gas fairly soluble in water. It is unstable and sweetish odor. It is harmful to plants, animals and human beings. Ozone is one of the important chemical species present in the stratosphere at about an altitude of 30 kilometers from the surface of the earth with a concentration of about an latitude 10 ppm. Ozone is formed in the stratosphere. an altitude of 30 kilometers. Ozone is destroyed by the release of chlorine due to volcanic activity. It will also be destroyed by reaction with nitric oxide, atomic oxygen, reactive hydroxyl radical present in the atmosphere. It will also destroyed by man-made chlorofluorocarbons. What is the ozone layer? Ozone layer is a thin layer of ozone gas molecules that exist in the atmosphere. Ozone depletion. What is ozone depletion? As stated above, breakdown of the layer or shield makes the ozone layer ineffective in absorbing the ultraviolet radiation and in maintaining the ultraviolet radiation. It leads to abnormal global warming. Ozone layer over the Antarctic is reported to have weakened since 1980. Ozone layer is located in the stratosphere between 6 and 30 miles above the earth. It absorbs most of the harmful ultraviolet B radiation from the sun and also all the lethal UVC radiation. Professor Paul Gutten suggested as early as in 1970 about the possible depletion to ozone layer due to nitrogen oxides emanates from fertilizers and supersonic aircrafts. September 16 has been declared as International Day for the Preservation of Ozone Layer. Ozone hole. It is the manifestation of the reduction in the ozone layer during the Antarctic springtime when temperature is very low. This leads to a freezing of oxides of nitrogen cannot destroy the ozone eating chloric oxide. By October 1997, the area of ozone hole was said to have exceeded 24 million square kilometer, that is more than twice the area of Europe, and covered some populated areas of the southern hemisphere. Next topic is global warming. Introduction. Global warming is a gradual, long term increase in the average temperature of Earth's atmosphere due to greenhouse effect, where gases from various human activities, including the burning of the fossil fuel, trap heat from solar radiation. Global warming, which means heating of our atmosphere, which is dangerous to our motherland, which affected by the natural and man-made causes. What are the causes of global warming? The causes of global warming are industrial, electricity generation, transportation, buildings, deforestation, agricultural practices, mining, waste disposal, etc. Industrial. The gases released by industries. Electricity generation. Burning coal, natural gas, or other fossil fuels to generate electricity accounts for about a quarter of greenhouse gas emission in the US. Transportation. The gas which released by vehicles, carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, N2O, and methane CH4, which leads to global warming, which is a largest problem. Buildings. The fossil fuels to burn to heat buildings and refrigerants that leak out of cooling systems are major source of greenhouse gases in buildings. Deforestation. Agricultural practices. Using of pesticides and fertilizers which leads to soil erosion. Mining. Operations that rely on fossil fuel emit significant levels and greenhouse gases. Waste disposal. When plastics and other non biodegradable waste decompose, it releases toxic gases. What are the effects of global warming? The effects of global warming are higher temperature, rising of sea level, plant and animal extinction, danger to marine life, disappearing of polar ice, etc. Higher temperature. The average temperature on the earth has increased by 1.5 degrees centigrade since 1900, and many scientists predict that this trend will continue due to global warming. The rising of sea levels. Due to heat of earth, the ice melts, which leads to rising sea levels. Third, plant and animal extinction. The rising global temperature can cause parts of the planet to become uninhabitable for many native plants and animal species. Danger to marine life. As oceans are becoming more acidic and polluting, it will harmful to the marine life in the way of eutrophication. Next one, disappearing of polar ice. When the water frozen in polar sea, ice melts into the oceans. It can have a large impact on rising sea levels and speed up the heating of Earth's atmosphere. Next topic is greenhouse effect. The phenomena where atmospheric gas that traps the heat of the earth and produces a warming effect in the same manner as to how a glass gets heated in a greenhouse is known as the greenhouse effect. It need for the preservation, conservation and protection of environment, natural resources and biodiversity. Next topic is climate change. Meaning, climate is weather conditions of a place or area, conditions of temperature, rainfall, wind, etc. Weather is the condition of the atmosphere at a particular place and time. It is characterized by parameters such as the temperature, humidity, rain, and wind. Climate is the long run pattern of weather condition for a given area. The factors that influence global climate are the amount of solar energy the earth receives, the conditions of the atmosphere, the shape and rotation of the earth, and the currents and other processes of the ocean. The scientific evidence suggests that the earth's climate is changing. The atmosphere is warming and this trend will continue. By the year 2050, scientists predict that the world will be warmer by an average of between 1.5 and 4.5 degrees Celsius. It needs for the preservation, conservation and protection of environment, that is natural resources and biodiversity. What is the meaning of preservation or protection? The protection means keeping safe or guard from danger, enemies and against attack. The word protect means to cover, shield or defend from danger, harm and injury. Meaning of preservation. Preserve means keep safe from harm or danger. risk of going bad, retain to reduce. To uphold preservation means the act of keeping safe from preservation, injury, harm, or destruction. Protection, preservation, conservation are almost similar. That means keeping in existence without loss. Meaning of conservation. The term conservation is derived from two Latin words. Con means together and serve to keep or guard, and thus meaning keeping together. Definition. Conservation may be defined as the management for benefit of all life including humankind of the biosphere so that it may yield sustainable benefit to the present generation while maintaining its potential to meet the needs and aspirations of the future generations. What is the need for environment preservation and conservation? The natural environment is full of resources such as land, water, minerals, forest, wildlife, etc. Any material may be termed as resources provided that an appropriate technology is available to transform that into more valuable goods. Some resources are, for example, trees are cut down for wood. The virgin forest cover may be maintained through planting new trees, afforestation. There are non-renewable exhaustible resources are there like iron, coal, mineral oil, etc. Once they are used in unlimited way, they cannot be easily replaced. Expanding human population resulted in expanding needs to man with scientific progress and technological development. The man started using natural resources at a much larger. It continues increased in population caused an increasing demand for resources. This created a situation when the non renewable resources may come to an end after some time. The conservation of resources. The resources conservation has three specific objectives. 1. To maintain essential ecological process and life support system. 2. To preserve biological diversity. 3. To ensure that any utilization of specific and ecosystem is sustainable. Protective methods of environment. 1. Soil conservation. Soil conservation refers to the measures and practices which protect the soil against loss and help in maintaining its fertility with a view to establishing sustainable agriculture. Methods. 1. Conservational village by incorporating the residues from previous gaps into the soil. 2. Organic farming by applying biofertilizers. 3. Crop rotation in successive years on the same piece of plant. Next, forest conservation. To sustain the forest cover, we have to conserve the existing forest and restore the degraded forest. Following measures should be adopted to conserve forest. Methods. 1. Conservation of reserve forest. There are areas where our water regimes are located like Himalayas, Western Ghats, etc. National parks, sanctuaries. Second, production forest. There are forests on flat land managed for high degree of production. Working on them scientific lines with proper techniques does not pose environmental problems. What are the laws in India? The forest conservation through law in India. National Forest Policy 1952 enunciated that one third of the geographical area of the country should be under forest with a view to conserving forest. Government of India enacted the Forest Conservation Act in 1980. The Forest Conservation Act 1980 was amended in 1988 to incorporate strict penal provisions against the violators. By taking these measures, we can preserve our forest. We will discuss conservation of water and biodiversity in our next video. Thank you.